I'm glad you were in Hawaii, and obviously you spoke with Governor Ige, but did you let the congressional delegation know that you were going to be in Hawaii?
Yeah, I think I mentioned it to you the last time we spoke that I would be in Hawaii in December.
I don't think we got the date, but not to beat you over the head with it, but I think that it would be good for you to, your team to alert the congressional delegation when you
And
come
we
to our
did.
state, so we
We
can
did.
maximize our ability to support and work with.
We did, and I will go back on what you and I discussed last time. I made two commitments: one to go to Hawaii, and one to go. If you're not there, I've got to go back because I'm going to go to Samoa and Guam
there you
to
go.
go with you. Go there when you were there.
Thank you very much. The VA, over the years, of course, not only have we had so many secretaries over the last 5 years, as mentioned, though, there are ongoing challenges, whether it be IT, homelessness, suicides, construction delays, of course, access to care. So you had been asked whether there is a sense of urgency at the VA, but I ask you whether you have a sense of urgency.
Absolutely.
So if you have a sense of urgency, what are your top priorities for the VA?
Well, my top priorities for the VA, and I mentioned the first clinical priority, which is
You know,
suicide prevention.
Right, that's one.
My top priority is to create, with the assistance of these committees, a modern 21st century healthcare administration that keeps veterans at the center of their health care. This committee's already laid down the template for that, and it is my duty to carry that out.
So I think I'm looking for something a lot more measurable. So, for example, you were asked, how can we verify whether you're reaching your goal regarding suicide prevention? So, a former VA secretary said that his goal would be to end homelessness. So, those are the kinds of specific kinds of priorities that I am asking you to articulate,
Well,
if you have them.
I will tell you, I'm not going to come to this committee and tell you that I will end homelessness. And I'm not going to come to this committee and tell you that I can eliminate suicide amongst.
Well, that is not what I'm asking you. What I'm asking you is, what are your, out of a sense of urgency, what are your top priorities for the VA? So whether it be decreasing suicides, decreasing homelessness, so do you
right.
have those kinds of
Well,
priorities?
I just mentioned them. Modern 21st century healthcare administration for the VA, which means modern IT, meaning the best medical care possible.
When you say something like best medical care possible, how do you have how do you come up with a verifiable matrix?
Well, I can tell you that our healthcare is, and we have the standards, we have the metrics which we share with this committee. We compare what we provide with healthcare across the country. I've referenced the latest comparison that Dartmouth, the Ivy League, has done. That was in the Annals of Internal Medicine last week. That says
So I am running out of time.
that
Mr.
our
Secretary.
care is as good or better than any in the country. I want to make
If
sure
you
that
have those priorities for you, because it would be good for us to hold people accountable and that there be transparency and accountability, and I would certainly want to apply that to you. So if you have those priorities and they are listed, and how you're going to, whether you have verifiable metrics to enable us to realize whether you've attained those priorities, that would be great. I have a question about the family caregiver, comprehensive assistance for family caregivers. That is a very important program for a lot of veterans, and I'm glad that we expanded it. So I have received, though, for example, a note from a caregiver in Hawaii just this week, and she wrote, quote, "I just received the devastating news that we were no longer eligible for the caregiver program. I did not even receive a phone call, follow-up from my coordinator, or even an explanation other than the fact that her husband is simply no longer eligible." So how are you communicating with the 5,500 family caregivers as to what is happening with this program, what the requirements are, et cetera?
So first of all, if your office could share with us that individual so we can follow up on
Certainly.
that. So The Mission Act is giving us the tools to do this right moving forward and making sure that we have objective ways so that we make sure that we're implementing the same no matter what state you are in across the country. And part of it is what we're proposing is to move away from these reassessments and more towards wellness checks to make sure that the caregiver has what they need to succeed and the veteran is receiving the services that they need. We have regular ways that we communicate with the caregivers. We have phone calls with them around the country. We have a phone line where they can call in, and but we have not yet made our decision on how we're rolling out. We're still getting input. Right now it's in the Federal Register, some of the ideas of how to improve upon the services available in the program. So.
And you're absolutely right. It's 5.5 million family caregivers
Oh, did I
out
say
there that
5,500?
we have to support.
Yes.
ma'am.
That's a lot of people to stay in touch with.
Absolutely.
But thank you, and I
But
will
it's
send
the
you the
wave of the
information
future.
regarding this particular inquiry I got. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you,